here again. My name is Alexander. There's sort of like this thing that happens in like the first few seconds anytime I'm supposed to make a recording where it's like I'm staring at the camera and then I'm just feeling like this is so natural. Um, when I do the edit, the awkward first few seconds doesn't make it past the edit, but anyways, I just always notice that like the first few seconds of every recording just feels very awkward to me. I'm not sure why. I mean, I'm the only one in this room, but still, it just feels very, you know, there's something weird about it. Anyways, today I'll be reviewing Greek Lessons by Han Kang. Did I say the name correctly? Yeah, if I can just get my notes. So this one was another book club recommendation, recommended by someone in the book club. Fun fact, this was like, because I'm in a couple book clubs, of maybe four. I probably won't be going to one anymore, so maybe three. So yeah, this was the first time I went to this particular book club, and this was the book that they were reading. So I was like, hey, why not? I had read The Vegetarian long time ago, probably in the year it was released. I didn't remember much from it besides the fact that I thought it was really bizarre. I remember liking the prose, but I don't remember liking the book. I mean, The Vegetarian. So I was going into this one thinking that I might not enjoy it, but I was willing to give it a chance. And yeah, this is a translation. It was translated from Korean by someone. I don't know who the translator is. And I suppose the thing with translated books is, I mean, I'm grateful for the fact that someone took the time to translate them, but like, I know for sure that a lot was lost in translation, and I'm not getting, I guess, the original feel of the language and all the nuances and stuff that were probably better expressed through the author's first language. And even though I feel like this translation was a good job, like anytime I read translations, I can't help but think that like there's a lot that I'm missing due to the fact that this is not like the original language was intended to be read in. But anyways, what's Greek lessons about? So the plot follows two characters who are sort of like out of place in the world. The first is a woman who is mute. She's lost her sense. She's lost her ability to speak, and it's not clear why this happens. It's sort of implied in the book that it's more from previous trauma because she's had this before. By this I mean she's lost her ability to speak before while she was a child, and now it's happening again now that she's much older. It sort of implies that this is true trauma, even though she sort of doesn't agree with this. She doesn't think that she's losing this because of the trauma she's having. But anyways, there's this character who's mute, the woman, and she's going to a Greek class because she's thinking that through her learning this new language and exploring the new language of ancient Greek, um, she would somehow regain her sense of speech or her ability to speak. I'm not sure how that was supposed to work, but I mean, that was what she thought, and I mean, I was willing to go ahead with like her judgment. And that's one character. And the second main character, because there are two main characters in the book, and we follow them. It's sort of like an alternating like point of view thing for each chapter. And the second character is her tutor, who's like the tutor in the Greek class that she's going to. This is also a man who is slowly losing his ability to see. I mean, at the point we start the book, he's pretty much lost more than like 60% or 70% of his vision. So he's going really blind, and he pretty much can't see anything, and he knows that he's going to lose his sight in like in a short time, and he's sort of like dealing with this and struggling with this. So with this initially, I was thinking that this it sounds like really interesting. It's almost like the startup of a joke, like you say, like a mute guy and a blind guy walk into a bar kind of thing. So I was thinking that okay, this book is going to be like the exploration of these two very interesting characters that look like they don't quite fit, and it's sort of like going to explore like the relationship between them. And that was my initial expectations going into the book. Well, not going into the book, but by the time the characters were introduced, I thought, okay, this is where the book was going. The book doesn't quite go in that route. So instead, the book explores their lives prior to, I guess, these things happening to them. And we sort of follow these characters through their lives and some of like their thoughts, the past events, and like this sort of some sort of like philosophical like um, ideas that they're grappling with. And these characters really don't have much of an interaction until like the last few pages of the book, where they have this really awkward interaction, which is interesting and awkward in a way. Yeah, so it's a book about language, communication, and there are some philosophical ideas that the book tries to explore. Even though I feel like they're few and far between, like it's just there. I remember one in particular where they were talking about death. I thought that was really interesting. In terms of the prose, I thought it was really beautifully written. It felt very poetic at times, which I found to be really. It got my attention because I remember thinking like, if the translation is this poetic, I wonder what the original version feels like, or did the translator add their own sauce on the translation? Like, it's one of those books where you feel like nothing is happening, but somehow I still kept reading, and I didn't feel bored. So it was written in sort of like an interesting way. The chapters where it's from the female's point of view is told from a third person point of view, and for the guy it's told from the first person point of view. So you're sort of like in the guy's head. So this makes it feel like you're more closer to the guy than to the girl. Um, or do I say man and woman? So I had that feeling, and because of that, it felt to me like the man was much more interesting, and I cared about him a lot more than I did the woman. I found that when I was reading the chapters where it was about the woman, I didn't like him very much as I did the chapters about the guy. Um, yeah, I remember while we're talking about this at the book club, lots of people hated it. Um, it wasn't one that was liked by lots of people at all. I feel like I was probably one of the few, I think me and one other person who had like some good things to say about the book. And you've also got to consider that I particularly didn't even enjoy the book that much, and I feel like I just had to say good things just so that I could say that the book wasn't entirely bad, because I don't think it was. I think the book is good, and I think for some people they might really enjoy this. People who like prose that's well written, and where the book isn't entirely just focused on the plot, and it's more like it's sort of like just following the thoughts of the characters. Even though I didn't find the characters particularly interesting, besides the fact that they were going through like, I guess, sad moments in life. Like imagine not being able to speak, and imagine knowing that you're not going to see in a bit. So I thought that the book could have been better, especially with the way that it was set up. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about the book. I think I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads, even though I feel like my star ratings are like, I always change my minds about these things anyways after I've got to think about them a lot more. I guess I've read this 3 weeks ago now, and I've thought about it a lot more since then, and I don't think that my thoughts on it have changed that much. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next one, which is going to be a review of Pale Fire by Vladimir Nabokov. That one should be more interesting, because I did like that book a lot more than this one. But yeah, anyways, I'll go away now. Catch you in the next one. Bye.